Okay. All right, yeah. Oh, great. Um, I just a notification just popped up on my phone alerting me that I have successfully occupied a deeper, darker, and dorkier circle of gear hell, and somebody has accepted my bid for original literature that came with that would have came with my Fender Super Sixes, of which I now, because I'm the most beautiful idiot I know, own two. There's one on my channel where I demo the first Super Six. Fuck. Making coffee in a French press with one hand is tough. And I also have I always, every time, overfill the French press so that when you start trying to pump it downwards, it just shoots molten hot coffee magma all over your hand. But I have learned that if I put it on the edge of the sink, it won't shoot it onto the floor and down the cupboards. So it's about progress, not perfection. It's about growth, and not the finish line. And so here's some news. A while ago, a kind viewer, of which there are now 66 of you, which is so fun, gave me my first video request, and I said it would be the next video that I did, and I lied to you. Has to do with the Ampeg SVT 100 that I have from the MTI era. That's what you wanted to see with the EGC. You can't see it because it's stuck behind a pile of amps. It's stuck behind the amp pile. That amp pile, sorry. It is underneath the JMP and the Trainer YBA 1A. Since I've started law school, when I started law school, I thought for sure I would have to really pump the brakes on the gear situation. But the fucking planet, or the universe, is making that a little bit tough by doing things like placing entire piles of guitars in front of me for insanely low prices. So I bought 14 guitars at once a couple weeks ago, which was way more guitars than I had ever bought at once. And I really only needed or wanted 2 guitars out of the pile. One is this late 90s, 60s spec classic series. I don't know. I feel like every fucking model of Fender uses the word player or classic in it, and so I don't know exactly what to call it, but it's a made in Mexico 60s spec Strat, and it rules. But I am going to sell it because I need to afford a couple other things, and my late 80s Squire from Japan still has my heart. But this one is somehow Stratier, capital S, Strat, italicized Strat, probably because of the staggered pull piece pickups. It's just like super crisp and bright and high end. And I got another PBT 60 in the pile, and so those both ended up being free once I had disposed of the things I did not need. The other cool things that I did not need, I wanted, but I didn't really want. There was an Ampeg stud in there, which is a funny guitar. An Ampeg stud is a Japanese bolt-on SG copy that is fine, but not that great because it's a bolt-on SG copy. But it does have an I don't want to derail too long on this, but the fake Bigsby that it has on it is an ingenious design where you thread the string through. This is the Bigsby. You thread the string through the entire block of, or like the entire. On Bigsby's, where you normally have those posts that are absolutely impossible to thread the ball end over for a Bigsby, instead you have drilled through the entire bottom bar of the Bigsby and you just thread through there. It catches the ball and then you loop around and string up the guitar. It is superior in every fucking way to how a normal Bigsby operates, and it infuriates me that, one, I never thought about it, and then two, that Bigsby has never just made theirs do that, because it is infinitely better than trying to do the little like weird crimp and stretch to get the ball ends over the posts. So that's much ado about nothing. This is what we're really about today. We're about two things. One, we are about this. We are about this Laney Pro Tube lead 50 watt master volume, and we are about this fucking Washburn. This is a Washburn from the Wing series of the 1970s. So Washburn started making solid body electrics, except they didn't start making anything. They started paying Japanese factories to make them for Washburn. And starting with these guys, they just, God, they're so sick. So it's neck through with, I believe, ash wings and a rosewood top. This, I've been told, is an early one in the series because the jack is top mounted and not side mounted. You've got brass everything because it is the 1970s, and so you've got brass saddles going through the body, which is sick. And you also have the original brass nut on top. This is, I believe, the Falcon. There are an eagle, which is kind of like this, also neck through, but with like super ostentatious inlays and things like that. And a few other ones that I can't remember the name of. There's also like Wing Series bases, which are sick. And also, so you think 3-position switch, like this is just sort of a SG control layout on like a kind of a fake or a Les Paulish situation. It's not. Instead of going volume, volume, tone, tone, you go volume, tone, and they're pushes on the volumes to coil split. I picked this up a long time ago in a pile of Washburns. I bought 4 Washburns at the same time, and sold off 3 of them because one was stupid. The other I shouldn't have sold because it was incredible and I made a mistake. The third was like super sick, but I couldn't afford to keep all 4 of them. And then this is the one that was like the forever situation. I want to play the Laney. Because it sounds so good. Like the more I play this amp, the more I'm just so impressed with it. It's so good. And it is going through my favorite cabinet that I've plugged it into so far, which is underneath that Sims Watts. That's an old Music Man 2x10 that's ported at the bottom. And the secret sauce is that it is loaded with Electro Voice EVM 10Ls, which which are the secret Stevie Ray Vaughan speaker. And they're also the speaker that Rivera put in his combos in the 80s. And you can find them in Mesa Boogie bass cabs. The diesel era, like metal grill front 8x10s and 2x10s have those speakers in them. They're great bass speakers, but they're really good guitar speakers. I shouldn't say they're really good guitar speakers. I should say that I particularly like them on guitar. And one reason why I like them so much with this amp is because let me just play a second. EQs are all like at noon. Preamps at 6. Masters at 4. Humbucker for both pickups. Everything's just kind of on full middle position. Single coil? No, that's bridge single coil. To tell what's going on, and I just hear like an increased kind of top end, and I'm like, okay, I'm in single coil land. It's a lot more evident on the bridge. I'm in humbucker, or I'm sorry, on the neck. I'm in humbucker land now. Should happen with that riff. ephemeral, effervescent writing process happened. I'm always riff writing for the Ensign Saga, which is the Myrtle Beach rock opera, and but isn't it so much more than the Myrtle Beach rock opera? Anyway. The reason why this cab is fucking, or these speakers in this cab are particularly good for this amp is because of the pole 2 boost pots on the amp. You've got boost pots on bass, middle, and treble. I'm going to keep everything at noon and just show you what the boosts are doing. Treble. Spiky, it just gets like a lot of air, a lot of texture. That's off. Middle boost is on. Off. Just kind of jumps forward more. It's great. But the bass boost is fucking wild. You just go from like the middle and the treble are like, you know, reasonable differences. Bass is just like, whoa! It somehow doesn't really get muddy, especially when you pull everything out, keep it at noon. Impacted by that like Munchausen curve or whatever. When you experience that's whatever I just did was funny. Munchausen is not what that curve is called, and it is a syndrome that is, I can't remember what it means, but it definitely doesn't mean that. But anyway, you have a tendency to think that the quality of sound that you are hearing is better if it is louder. And certainly what the boosts do overall is increase the volume. I thought I liked the way that the Sam sounded before I turned the boosts on. And then you turn the boosts on and you're like, whoa, holy shit. Whoa, it just grows, like, gets so much, not just louder, but like wider and bigger. And whatever that bass boost is set to frequency-wise is at the like thump to chest frequency and not the turn into a bowl, like a bowl of porridge frequency. And so it's just so satisfying. And then you're back in normal zone. You've had a couple seconds to sort of like readjust, and you're like, oh yeah, it sounds fucking great. The boosts may not translate at all through the phone, but just like, you know, sucks for you. Preamp on 10. at 6. It's like, god damn. Oh, Sam just said so good! Oh! 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 No? Oh! No? Sorry, Atlas. Atlas thought I was calling him. Man, I don't, I'm gonna play a little bit more for my own self. I think that's all I have to say. This guitar rules. You can still find these. There's some bolt-on ones, like I said. The neck-through ones are... I mean, if you're going to buy something, just get the fucking neck-through ones. Quit fucking around. This year, I've seen them go for $500 or $600, but that is... I feel like that's underpriced for what's going on with this guitar. And I'm keeping it. And, I just love this Laney so much. And I love you too. I hope this has been a nice time for you. It's been a nice time for me. I got midterms next week because I'm in LAW school. Ever heard of it? God, this tone should be illegal. I'll tell you that much. And, it's going alright, law school. It's a fuck ton of work, that's for sure.